This week's episode is brought to you with the support of Bureau Veritas.
At Bureau Veritas, each and every one of us is by your side to help you navigate your decarbonisation journey and shape a better maritime world.
This is Green Seas, the podcast by Tradewinds about sustainability and the business of the ocean. I'm Eric Priante Martin, and today we're talking about ammonia safety again, but this time from the perspective of the company that's working to deliver the first ship engine that will be powered by the carbon-free fuel. WinGD Chief Executive Dominik Schneiter is confident his company will deliver the world's first ammonia engine this year. And when I talked to him, he expressed similar confidence in the efforts to ensure that the ships that will use it will be safe. As engine makers, shipyards, and their partners work to overcome lingering concerns about adopting a fuel known for its toxicity, he said the designs of ammonia-fueled vessels have been carefully developed to achieve safety levels that are equivalent to gas carriers that move the fuel as a cargo today.
Of course, ammonia is a zero carbon fuel, so net zero fuel. And that's the beauty of it. And of course, everybody is aware of the toxicity of ammonia, but we have to deal with this. But I think if you do it in a diligent way, we find solution. Ammonia is a commodity traded for decades, and all the procedures actually, if you look at ammonia's cargo, is in place. And many of these procedures and standards can be used also when we talk about ammonia as bunkering fuel, and about ammonia in the engine room, how to burn ammonia on the engine.
As my colleague Lucy Hine has reported in Tradewinds, Switzerland-headquartered WinGD is gearing up to deliver the world's first ammonia-fueled engine to a shipyard in June. On this podcast, a few weeks ago, we heard from Rafat Emek-Kurt, director of the Maritime Human Factors Centre at the University of Strathclyde in the UK. He expressed worries that there were insufficient efforts in the industry to ensure ammonia-fueled ships are being designed in a human-centric way, thinking about the seafarers that will work on those vessels. But Schneiter told me that a human-centric approach to the preparations for crew members is essential to ongoing efforts to ensure ammonia is safely deployed as a fuel.
Whether we talk about digitalization of the marine industry or whether we talk about future fuels, it will not work if we don't see the crew member as part of the system, and that's very essential. Now, related to ammonia has been transported as cargo on seagoing vessels for decades, and there's a long history about demonstrated that it can be handled safely despite the toxicity.
Schneiter said seafarers with experience on gas carriers have been involved in the design efforts, so designers know how they'll react when something goes wrong. That allows them to develop protocols for dealing with such situations.
And with that, enhance the overall safety and protect the crew members as such. Obviously, the crew members need to have a certain knowledge. They have to go through training. They have to understand the standardized protocols, and the protocols must be developed based on their experiences.
Schneiter told me that whether ammonia can be used as a marine fuel is a question that has long been answered, and over the past year, efforts have mainly focused on the processes for getting ammonia onto vessels, that means bunkering, and into the engine's combustion chamber. Ammonia-fueled ships will have double-wall piping, and following practices for using LNG and LPG as a fuel, comprehensive purging processes have been developed to ensure safety.
For maintenance operations, any pipe that might contain ammonia is of course monitored and then purged to make sure it's safe to work. And all these measures are really in place to safeguard the crew while enabling the safe use of this fuel.
Gas detectors will be in place to protect against leaks.
The soon leakage is detected, the engine can trip back to diesel mode within milliseconds. So it just needs to reach this trickle level, assuming ammonia leak from first barrier, immediately go back to diesel fuel. And then the whole piping in the engine room is immediately purged. So the ammonia will be returned to the fuel handling room, where it's a safe room, and ammonia is contained in a catch system to secure that no ammonia leak can occur before a pipe fully breaks, for example, or a connection comes fully off. All these things. And there were a lot of analyses done. How much time does it need? Is it still safe? What in case some spill, etc., etc. And there's a high degree of maturity now of these systems.
In the early days of exploring ammonia to help ships decarbonize, shipping experts believed ammonia-fueled vessels would need a great degree of separation between engines and crew, but the design Schneiter described doesn't seem drastically different from today's gas-fueled vessels. Schneiter said that that's the beauty of having experienced gas carrier operators whose vessels haul ammonia today, involved in engine room and safety design.
Initially we had discussion about enclosed engines, like building a tent around it or an enclosure so it's safe, whatever leakage, and then monitor everything with the optical devices, video or whatever you could figure out to make sure is there a leakage, yes or not. But it was then clearly mentioned by this experienced operator that this would actually be an additional burden to care of, so they would rather have more open space, of course, closely monitored.
Schneiter acknowledged the concerns by the University of Strathclyde's Curt that crew members face challenges from increasing complexity in shipping.
We see it our task to make it simple for them, simple in a way that they can handle it by clear protocols, following clear checklists, using the digital tools not as a burden, but rather as a support.
In March, Curt questioned the level of analysis into crew tasks on ammonia-fueled vessel designs. But Schneiter said WinGD, which is controlled by China State Shipbuilding Corporation, along with its partners, have done a lot of analysis.
And we are happy to share this also with institutional partners. We share this, of course, with classifications and flag states who are affected. Currently, it's case by case, but we also look forward to have more standardized approach. There is an initial safety guideline from IMO now for ammonia-fueled vessel, but this needs further developed. And of course, these discussions are very important.
Read more stories about sustainability in shipping at tradewindsnews.com/sustainability and get the Greenseas newsletter at tinyurl.com/greenseas. Music for this episode is by Alex Grohl, Top Flow, and Euroscoop on Pixabay.